Television. We are here with a mandate to restore Biafra. And of course, Sunrise Daily has come here to expose all the lies going on. We have come to analyze everything in details. We are here to educate and enlighten you about the happenings and the contraction, the happenings in Biafra land, the happenings internationally, and of course as it concerns the restoration of Biafra. We are the indigenous people of Biafra, led by NNAMDI KANU'S and deputized by Chimafo. We have come to restore the land of the rising sun, and no two ways about it. Don't forget, this generation will restore Biafra. We are reaching from Biafra land this morning. My name is Ngozi Chukwukand. In the studio this morning, I have with me
Mazi Chika Austin.
Mazi Chika Austin, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Okay, Mazi Chika Austin will be educating us. He's a great analyst, very great analyst, and of course, this morning we are going to, learn a lot of things from him. We're going to be enlightened this morning, and I know so many people are already happy. So many people have been asking, when is Chika Austin coming on studio? When is he coming? And today he is here, and I say to you once again, glad to have you.
Thank you so much.
Because I know so many are also glad to.
Yeah, it's a privilege. It's a privilege to be here as well.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, this morning, before we go ahead, you know the right thing to do. We have ensured that we are on almost all the social media platforms. You have to share this program. It's very important. We're on our satellite TV, we're on Facebook, we're on Periscope, Twitter, and YouTube. So all you need to do is keep sharing the program. If you're on Twitter, please keep tweeting it. Keep tweeting the program. Very, very important. On Facebook, share it on your timeline. Share to your friends via their inbox. Share to every group or forum where you find yourself on Facebook. It's very, very important. You can as well copy the link and share to your friends on WhatsApp so they can watch with you. Like I always say, we carry everyone along. No one must be left behind in the restoration of Biafra. And because of that, we've ensured we reach out to Biafrans all over Biafra land. Very, very important. There are so many people out there who do not have access to the internet. So what do? We transmit concomitantly on Radio Biafra London to enable them also hear us. So you call your people at home, call everyone all over Biafra land, wherever they are. Tune in to Radio Biafra London, and of course they will hear us this morning. We are here with a very important topic this morning, like I said earlier, very important topic. So ensure you don't eat it alone. Call your friends, your brothers, your sisters to join you this morning. And of course, our lines will be open in 60 minutes time. Our lines will be open for you to call in and make your contribution. And of course, it's just our Skype and Facebook. Our Skype and Facebook ID is Sunrise BTV. You call us there to make your contribution. Thank you once again for joining us today. Okay, Mazi Chika Austin, let's quickly go straight to what we have here this morning. I want us to look at the recent international happenings and how it concerns the restoration of Biafra. You know, it's really, really important. And of course, let's start from Israel. We know that our leader reappeared in Israel just 1 month ago. And that was after 13 months of his disappearance. That was as a result of the invasion of his house. And he's been broadcasting from Israel, but up until now, we are yet to hear the Israeli government make a statement as regards that. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for
thank you very much.
You and the management of this noble platform, Biafra Television and Radio Biafra, for this great, unique opportunity to be here. It's a wonderful privilege, and I want to thank you, Mazi Bright Oriako, for wonderful efforts you people have been making towards spreading this glorious news to the utmost end part of the world. Well, in respect to the question you just raised, I want to say this. Every nation has her internal behavior. Every nation has the way she responds to issues. Okay? And one thing about the state of Israel is that the state of Israel does not respond to issues like most nations we have on the planet Earth. I want to say this. If you have been acquainted with Israeli way or Israeli management of way of managing her foreign policies, Israel is not a nation that reacts based on what the world wants her to react. Do you understand? React into. She has this nature of responding when she finds it convenient for her to respond. Take for instance, you have seen severally Israeli IDF, Israeli Defense Force, takes military operation in Syria, attacks a place or attacks an Iranian target in Syria. The world media will say this operation is led by Israel, and you don't see Israeli government speaking in response to that operation. So she is known. I think that's one thing Israel is known for. Israel is not a nation that talks. Rather, she's a nation that acts. Do you understand me? She believes that while she does the acting, the action, you have to do the talking for her.
Okay.
And she is known for that. You see her operation in what is it? Her attack on Hamas group in West Bank. You see her attack in Lebanon. You see her attack in Syria. When she takes up operations of such kind, she doesn't speak. So when it comes to Biafra issue, as if I should go strictly to your question and your area of interest, if you look at what is happening, Nigeria has been playing the role of talking Tom. She has been the talking Tom, you know, talking and talking without action. And you see Israel on her own has been doing more of acting and less talking. So nobody should be worried that Israel has not said anything, whether NNAMDI Kanu, Mazen NNAMDI Kanu is at their own territory. Nobody should bother on that, because that is Israeli nature. Remember, Abaribe Council has written requesting that Nigeria foreign mission, Nigeria ambassador in Israel should notify or clarify some issues if Mazen NNAMDI Kanu is in Israel. Okay, we have equally seen several voices saying, what is the position of Israel in the whole thing? But if you're really educated about the way Israel foreign policy operates, one thing is certain, and I want to, my position is bound to be argued. Israel has a nature of foreign policy where she believes more in acting, why you do more on talking for them. So this is part of it. It's not new to me, because to an extent I'm acquainted with Israeli foreign policy. So Israel takes action and allow you to talk about it.
Okay.
Why this side we see them talking with less action? So it's a nature. So nobody should get worried about that. But events we are seeing has proven that Israel is really in line. Is really sympathetic with the Biafran cause, because giving Mazen NNAMDI Kanu several opportunities to speak in their national television, to speak on their radio, national radio station, is a clear indication that at the level of Israeli government official position, there is quite understanding between Mazen NNAMDI Kanu and the government of Israel.
Okay, thank you very much. You've said it, because I was like asking, instead of they coming up to make a statement as regards that, or why they harbored him, or if really he's there with them, they went ahead granting him interview in the national TV and radio, their national radio. And like, what does it really imply? What are they trying to show? What are they trying to make?
Well, the idea of allowing Mazen NNAMDI Kanu to make use of their noble media platforms is really significant. It is significant in the sense that, remember, I want to say this, Mazen NNAMDI Kanu wasn't speaking on private-owned television in Israel.
Yeah.
He didn't speak on private-owned radio station in Israel. He spoke on the official platform. Okay. What that implies is this: if somebody is speaking on NTA, and the same person, another person is speaking on AIT or fake channel television, as most of their actions have been recently known for. So the person speaking on NTA is enjoying official platform, unlike those speaking on AIT and Channels TV, because these are private owned stations. So giving you an official platform simply means they want NNAMDI Kanu to address not just the Israelis within the geographical reality known as the state of Israel, but by extension for him to, it's all about PR, what we call public relation. Do you understand me? That is exactly what Israel is enabling NNAMDI Kanu to do. Use our official platform so that our people will understand, for the fact that we have given you our official platform simply means that we are in support of what you're doing. And remember, if you are in US, for example, I will keep on using Nigeria to give a lot of instances. If you are US, you are a Nigerian and you are in US, if you want to know what is happening in Nigeria, which station do you hook on to? NTA. So the Jews all over the world always hook on to this CAN 1, because this is the official media platform in the state of Israel. So what are they trying to say? They are saying, use our official platform. Don't only speak to the Jews within the geographical reality known as the state of Israel in Middle East, but beyond that, we want you to carry out this public relation to Jews all over the world. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
And that is a great privilege, it's a great opportunity being granted to our leader, NNAMDI Kanu, and of course, it is a wonderful one.
Wow, thank you very much. And in case you're just joining us, this is Sunrise Daily News Analysis on Biafra Television, and we are reaching you from Biafra land. We are transmitting simultaneously on Radio Biafra London this morning. I'm Ngozi Chukwu, and I have Manzi Chika Austin with me in the studio this morning. We are looking at the international events that are taking place and that are still taking place, and of course how it concerns the restoration of Biafra. It's very important. So in case you're just joining, please help invite your friends to join you as well. Don't forget, all must be carried along. All hands must be on deck for Biafra to be restored. All right. You know, after the interview with Israeli national TV, that's CAN 1, the TV platform all of a sudden started a documentary program on the Biafran genocide. So what does it mean? What do you think about it?
It still falls in line with what I just explained earlier. Remember, the government represents the people interests, and in as much as the government represents the people's interest, I'm talking about in ideal society, so that you don't import Nigeria in what system. Yes, in what I want to present now. Nigeria is never close to what I want to present. The government represents the people, and in most cases we have equally seen cases where government wants to take up an action which the same government believes that the people are not really acquainted, people are not really educated about the government projection. So it lies at the responsibility of the government to carry out different media awareness campaigns, sensitizing the people of the need for the people to subscribe to this project. I hope you understand me. Now, when you look at what is happening presently, the government of Israel, all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, in all standard, has proven that the Biafran Jews, the Biafran people, their freedom is ripe. That is at the level of Israeli government. But that is not enough. I want you to understand something.
Okay.
Because the government owns explanation to the people.
Okay.
There is a social contract between the government and the people, which states in all principles that whatever steps you are taking, the people must be educated, and this is the issue of foreign policy. So what the Israeli government is now doing, all these documentaries you are seeing and other media efforts, is to tell the people the level of dehumanization these people have suffered, the Biafran people have suffered. That when we talk of supporting Biafra, we are not talking because it's a current issues. You need to tell the people where the problem started from, why these people were hated. Okay? Our interest to go for assistance of these people's freedom. This is what you're seeing. So when you see all these documentaries, all are targeted at sensitizing the common Israeli on the street of Hebron, if I'm not going, I think Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and other satellite states or cities, sensitizing them about the need of Biafran people having their freedom and the need for Israel to stake on this project. So these are some of the things you're seeing, and it's really helping. Because why I say it's really helping, when you look at Twitter, Facebook, and other social media, especially areas being a kind of close group of the Jewish society, when you go in there, you see, when you raise the issue of Biafra, it's no longer a new issue, because their government is doing all her effort to make sure that her people are being sensitized. This is a responsible government, as I earlier said. I'm not talking about a government that will go to China and sign billion. You ask them, did you go to China and sign some billion? They tell you that we have already spent the billion without informing the people about. So we are talking about an ideal society and a responsible society like State of Israel.
All right, thank you very much. While you were responding to this last question, you used the word Biafran Jews. During our leader's interview there, the national TV, the national TV, he also stated that, said Biafra is a Jewish state. And since then, it has raised a lot of concerns. There has been concerns from some Biafrans as to why it should be addressed as a Jewish state. Can you say something about that?
Yes, I have. To me, I have so many things to say on that.
Okay.
The truth is that, unfortunately, we are born on the part of the world where we hate research, where we hate studying, okay, where we hate constructive efforts, towards unearthing a lot of hidden truths. Okay.
Yeah.
Earlier before now, let me say this. Earlier before now, I have this something in me, an instinct in me that tells me we love Israel, we love Jews all over the world, because when we are little, you hear Jerusalem, Bodoma, a lot of songs and activities that are being championed towards youth wishing to be in Jerusalem, whether the physical Jerusalem or the elusive Jerusalem. But there is this mental picture being created. But now, recently, things are getting clearer to us as regards to our Jewishness, and you should expect people to react. Do you know why? When truths are being unearthed in a hashed way, when you tell a black man truth in a harsh way, the next thing you see him thinking, trying to build some defensive walls, instead of being liberal enough to ask, why this, why this, why this? Okay, you just tell somebody you are a Jew. Why not ask how? It's an elementary question, everybody, and a normal human should ask. Not, God forbid, I hope I'm a Jew. It's really funny, what makes you human to ask how, why, when, where? These 3 W's, these 4 W's should be imported. Not you saying, no, it doesn't change reality. So if NNAMDI KANU has said Jewish state of Biafra, do you understand me?
Yeah.
You should remember that he made a lot of things. He never said that, and everybody just swallowed it hook, line, and sinker. He was probed. he was asked why this question, and he further said anthropology backs his claims. He equally said DNA backs his claim. Now he equally said cultural similarities backs his claim. He equally imported. He said based on Levitical records and the traditional way of life of the Biafran people, there is obvious similarities. Now, what I'm expecting those who are trying to play repulsive game is to equally go on research and tell him and say, you say anthropology, here, there is a lot of disagreement. Yeah. You say DNA, here, there are lots of disagreement. You talk about Levitical records, agreeing with our traditional, oral, and other way of doing things. Here, disagree, I mean to say. But they wouldn't do that, because you see Nigeria factor playing, just like somebody telling you there is a professor of human genetic, what is it called, without having lab. He just come and say, because he went to Google and read, did a lot of plagiarism in his PhD thesis and all this, and he said, I'm a professor. Which professor? What are some of the analytical researches or laboratory analysis you have made? He never had any evidence. And when you ask him, he will just, when you drag him to the pool, he will not tell you that that was by the grace of God and he got a certificate. Grace of God correlating with facts and education. So what am I trying to say? When the NNAMDI KANU made that statement, okay, people like us, we went underground, we started investigating so many things based on what he alluded. You understand me? And our results prove that there are a lot of, though not 100% agreeing, let me for clarity here, not 100% agreeing, but from my findings, I can tell you we have 85-90% agreement on this. And the 10% that are disagreeing is as a result of long social evolution, which distorted, because as society evolves, there are contacts. These contacts with foreign elements distorts a lot of, conventional structures on ground. Either, make them a bit flexible for change, or make them totally flexible for total change. So these are some of the things we have found out. So if anybody is saying this is not feasible, to me, I think that person is he's entitled to his opinion, one, and his opinion is sacrosanct to him. That is all I can say.
All right, thank you very much for that clarity. It's really clear. Thank you very much. Okay, now looking at Israel and with the relationship between she and Biafra, we are aware that she is not one of the veto power possessors in the United Nations Security Council. How much do you think she can help Biafra if the need arises?
Well, I want to say this. Let me say this. Recently, there's agitation that arose in Europe. The Germans are saying to the French people, I say, come on, because UK is exiting. The UK is exiting from the bloc. Yes, and Germans are saying to French people, you remember, after UK exit, we only have one veto power possessor in EU, and the Germans are saying, French government crash that your veto power, transfer it from the nation state level to supranational body, as in, hand over your veto status to EU as a bloc.
Okay.
That is a current agitation ongoing, because Germany is seeing her level of economic power and a lot of things she possesses presently, and not having a veto power, that is really a kind of disadvantageous to her. So for that reason, that France should crash it to that. But I want to say this, as far as international politics is concerned, yes, the place of veto power is paramount. Let me give you a shocking historical issues. Okay. There have been several UN Security Council resolutions that affect the state of Israel. You might not know. There are various resolutions from UN Security Council that are antithetical to the position of the state of Israel. Do you know what the state of Israel did? They never allowed that to see the order of the day. And what happened? Did heaven fall? Heaven never fall. Did they confront Israel? They never confronted Israel. Why? Because most of the member states of this UN Security Council, most of them, if not all of them, are in one way or the other being sustained by either Israeli technology, or Israeli intelligence sharing, or Israeli agro exploits. Do you understand me? Yeah. So at the level of official level, at the level of protocols, they will say, this thing Israel is doing, we don't like it. Then at the level of national interest, because US security is also a multilateral interest, is a multilateral politics. Understand me? Yeah. And remember, what a country is pursuing first, irrespective of when people tell you that we are against protectionist policies and that is pure lie. In a real sense, every nation wants to save her national boundaries, her national interests first, before a multilateral interest. So when they tell you, most of these countries, members of UN Security Councils like France enjoys Israeli intelligence, Israeli security. A lot of intelligence sharing has saved France from bombing. You could see the one that happened when some Iranian guys wanted to bomb a target in France. It was Mossad that shared intelligence. Are you talking about UK? UK is enjoying security protection to a reasonable height from Israel. Are you talking about US? Are you talking about which one again? Russia? Are you talking about China? So at the level of multilateral politics, they will tell you, we don't do this. So why am I saying this? Because you asked a question that Israel is not a member of UN Security Council. She doesn't possess veto. But I want to tell you, at the level of indoors, individual engagement with these members of veto power, at the level of indoor meetings with them individually, all of them will tell them, don't mind what we are going to say on camera, man. Give us this, we are going to give you this. It's as simple as that. That is how it was. So she doesn't have a veto power by the definition of what a veto power is at the level of UN. But she has a veto power by the definition of how responsible she is and what is at her possession to influence all these nation states or countries that possess this veto power. So it doesn't matter. Okay. You could see Haley, the outgoing US representative. Nikki Haley. Yeah, Nikki Haley. You could see what Nikki Haley is just, by our standard, Israeli veto power in UN security, whether you like it or not. Sure. Because any resolution that comes against Israel, Nikki Haley, before it comes to them, we kill it.
That's true.
And funny enough, when she kills it, other people will do a light protest. A light protest because they are trying to tell their citizens, we are not in support of what Nikki Haley. But behind the door, they will tell a nation like France, UK, with Britain, with Jerusalem, don't mind our open protest. It's just by the way. You know, we can't afford to lose the assistances we are getting from you. So these are how it plays. So veto power or no veto power, to me, at individual view, is inconsequential when a nation is powerful.
Wow, interesting. Thank you very much. All right, this moment we'll be going on a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Biafra Television. I am Ngozi Chukwu, and I have my guest this morning in the person of Mazi Chika Austin. And today we are looking at the international happenings, international events that have been going on, and of course how it concerns the restoration of Biafra. And of course, Mazi Chika Austin is doing wonderfully well on that, and I can't stop saying thank you for coming.
I most appreciate it.
Okay, let's look at Israeli relationship presently with the Arab world. What do you think?
Well, it's a welcome one.
Okay.
It's a welcome one, and I want to equally say that I think it's really a shocking one to most people. It's really a shocking one to people who never expected their Arab brothers to make a sudden U-turn. To them it's a sudden, but to most people who have been following various developments of international politics is not a sudden. So to me, it's a welcome development, and to me, it's equally good for us.
How good it is to us?
Yes.
What are we going to gain from that?
I would have been in a very deep shock if you never asked how, because I know the question you just raised represents millions of questions people out there, our viewers, would want to ask. Yes, I want to say this. I think there is a reversal of events. You should remember in 1967 to 1970, these Arab nations you're seeing today being in a love affair with the state of Israel were anti-Israel as of the time I just mentioned, and anti-Biafra.
Okay.
So they were like cats and dogs, you know. The relationship was really in a low tune, low cadre. And today you are seeing them, you know, like Romeo and Juliet. I think that is how we describe it. You see Saudi Arabia in a mad love with Israel. And remember, this Saudi Arabia is a country that influences other Arab nations.
Okay.
And this is a country that Nigeria would want her not to have anything to do with the state of Israel. This is a country that Asrock would want her to be on her side. Make no mistake of that. So since Saudi Arabia in love affair with Israel is a heartbreak to Abuja.
Okay.
And if Saudi Arabia could have understanding with the state of Israel, what that simply means that most of the Sahel countries, the countries I mean Chad, Niger, and all the rest of them, are easily going to fall into the same love affair with their mother. Will I say their mother countries? Not really. I think that might not really be the right language.
Brother.
They are senior sister, so to say. Yes, senior sister. But and for the fact that Saudi Arabia is pro-Jerusalem, for the fact that Saudi Arabia is pro-Israel, naturally, most of these countries Nigeria would have used against the Biafran people if by commission or omission they drag us into open confrontation. It will not be difficult for them to work on the side of Nigeria, simply because Saudi, who is already in love affair with Israel, will not want them to stand in opposite direction with her, and them to understand that is a great suicide, foreign policy suicide, for any of them to stand against Saudi Arabia. Why you see Nigeria suffering and why Nigeria will keep on going down is because Nigeria state as a country chooses to rapport with Turkey and Iran against Saudi Arabia. And you know one thing, do you know what Saudi believes? Saudi does not believe in buying time with diplomacy. She believes in lashing you. If you sin against her, she lashes you in a terrible way that the world will understand she's the one dealing with you. For instance, when Qatar, Qatar, when Doha was rappelling with Iran and Turkey, you see what Saudi did? Saudi mobilized UAE, mobilized Egypt, mobilized other Gulf states to guarantee, to set up a blockade against Qatar. And you see how that severely affected Qatar economy. I hope you understand me. So this is how advantageous the whole thing is to us, because Nigeria would want Chad to give her support. Nigeria would want Niger to give her support. Nigeria will want other Sahel regions and Arab world. But presently, that is so difficult for her to achieve. And that's why, if you follow the whole stories, that those who launch attack, on Nigerian military that killed over 100 plus, that they came from Chad, and after the operation they ran to Chad. Do you understand me? Yeah. According to what we got from mainstream media. Yeah. So such a thing wouldn't have happened if not that Nigerian relationship with these nearby countries are no longer juicy, courtesy of Israel influence, Israel relationship with Saudi, and Saudi relationship with some of these countries.
Okay, thank you very much. Recently, Debbie, the president of Chad, went to visit Israel. What do you think about that? Yes,
Debbie's visit to Israel is really wonderful. Remember, in 1972, she severed relationship with the state of Israel, which we saw that being resurrected in a superb way. Okay, it means a lot. If you will understand, or if anyone who wishes to understand, you will understand that what Israel is playing is what we call geopolitics.
Can you explain?
I'm going to explain. It's what we call geopolitics, and it's very powerful. It's a very powerful way of confronting your enemy. Let me not sound too cosmetic here by saying Nigeria and Israel does not have problem. There is a cold war existing between Nigeria and Israel as I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
There is a serious diplomatic warfare ongoing. Nigeria will do everything humanly possible to destabilize Israel, and see Palestinian government and Palestinian state to stand. Abuja will do everything humanly possible. And Israel on her own will equally do everything possible at her disposal to make sure that Nigeria clamp down on Biafran people and the state of Biafra stands. It doesn't. I said I don't want to sound cosmetic here. I want to just be blunt, the way it is. And it depends on the resources Nigeria has. Does Nigeria has what it takes to take the war to Israel's boundary? I don't know if you're already following up.
Yes.
Does Israel on her own side have the resources to equally take the battle to Nigeria boundary? That is the game we are seeing now.
Okay.
Now Israel has what it takes. Remember, I said it's a geopolitics, and I'm going to explain.
Yeah, I get it.
In 1962, there's what we call, there's what we call missile crisis, Cuba missile crisis, and that happened in present Cuba. The defunct USSR was in a cold war with the US, and the Russian people never wanted that war to happen in Europe, in Russian soil. Do you know what they did?
Okay.
They clandestinely, covertly exported missiles to Cuba, mounted those missiles in Cuba with the intention that if there is a need for military confrontation between Russia and USA, the war will begin in Western Hemisphere. It will begin within the soil of United States.
Yes.
Because where they mounted the missile in Cuba is just some kilometers away to Florida, Miami. So they brought the war closer, strategic, it's a geopolitical politics.
Yes,
they
right.
brought the war closely to US soil. And guess what? US government could not take that to be lightly. The same thing happened during Bush Jr. regime. He wanted to confront Russia. What he did was he played geopolitics. He took the battle to Poland by building anti-missile shield in Blackwater. I think Black Sea or Blackwater. I might not be right. There's that one. He took anti-missile shield in Poland, and that got Russia jittering and panicking. Russia has to compromise because it's a geopolitical war. Political war is not a war you take lightly. So coming back to what is happening now, Israel cannot effectively confront Nigeria in Jerusalem. It does not work that way. So what Israel is doing is, let me get close to the contraption. Do you understand me?
Close, yes.
Quarantine her, monitor her closely from her neighbors, and if there is need for military confrontation, I'm going to launch my missiles close to her so that Abuja will get the heat closely. It's a geopolitics. I'm saying this on cameras and saying this on air so that those who don't understand what is happening will understand, and Abuja understands this. I'm not saying this to interpret it to Abuja because Abuja understands
they already
it,
know.
And that's why you see them running to Chad,
Exactly.
calling for conferences and all this. So what Israel is doing, we get Togo on our side, we go Benin Republic on our side. All these areas are not a problem. Now we need to get Chad, we need to get Niger. And I want to tell you one shocking thing, if you're interested to know, Ngozi. In Chad, as I'm talking to you, Chad is majorly controlled by two powers. The French, as a result of colonialism, and America, because of American investment in Chad energy. ExxonMobil has a reasonable investment since 1993 in Chad energy sector. And as a result of that, America has equally done terribly well in bringing Chadian military to a height.
Okay.
I hope you understand me.
Yeah, I do.
So within these two powers, France and America has a reasonable influence on whom Chad relates with. And France enjoys Israeli intelligence sharing. America is a natural ally to Israel. And Saudi Arabia, which is by the virtue of religion, although Chad is not 100% Islam is about 55% Muslims and 40-something% Christians. Go. But by virtue of power control, the Muslims are controlling the power, which by that standard gives Chad access to Saudi Arabia, which Israel already is in love with. So what Israel is doing, taking advantage of these powers that be, these powers that are controlling Chad, to penetrate. If you remember what Chadian President Deby said, he said, we are here because of economy and security. Simply means Israel, if by security, she is going to allow Israel access to build some military installation in Chad. Very, very important. Take note of that. If Deby says it's based on security, that means Israel can be allowed to fly her drone,
From Chad,
maintain airstrip in Chad. And what does that mean? If by commission or mission, the zoo keep on confronting Biafrans to a level of going into open confrontation, I wonder the right word to use, what that might mean to them. But at this moment, I lack any dictionary choice of word to describe what that might be.
Okay, so in all these, you try to make it a bit clear on the interest of Israel, but I want you to make it very clear. What really is Israel's interest?
Good. On Biafra.
On Biafra.
Or Africa, which one?
No, on Biafra. I'm coming to Africa.
Okay.
You know, mending with these Arab words, especially those of them who are neighbors to Nigeria. What really is their interest, apart from maybe using it to help Biafra?
Yes. like you have rightly said, in a real sense or in a conventional sense of it, every nation has
an
interest. Okay, and if you watch of recent, there is a scramble. I want to use what historians have, the word the historians have used earlier before. There is a second scramble on Africa. China is madly rushing down. European Union and all the rest of them, US and all this, and Israel is not going to be left out. Now, when you look at Africa as is presently, constituted or structured, one thing is this: Africa sustains the world, no doubt about that, no argument on that, because the raw materials the world needs comes from Africa.
Okay.
And as a result of this, it will be important for every country or every regional bloc to have a reasonable influence. I hope you understand me.
Yes. To
maintain a reasonable influence on countries of Africa or governments of African countries. Very, very important. And Israel, though geographically situated or found within the developing countries, she is not a developing country. She's a developed country.
Yeah.
And in as much as she's a developed country, she needs the same raw material that US needs in Africa. Israel wants it. The same raw material that industrialized European nations want in Africa, Israel wants it. And Israel understands that her activities in Africa, earlier before now, like the operation in Uganda, 90 minutes at Entebbe. You remember that?
No.
Maybe you're too young to remember that.
Not good there.
Okay. So, her operation in Uganda.
Okay.
And various campaigns being carried against her, that she's oppressive regime against the Palestinian people. Remember, in South Africa, Israel does not have a good relationship to South Africa, to Zimbabwe. Do you understand me?
Yes.
So in time past, there is this phobia, Israelophobia lifestyle in Africa. Now, coming to Nigeria, Nigeria has equally succeeded in carrying out, earlier before now, anti-Israel campaign in West African sub-region, in sub-Sahara region, as a result of Israel's curiosity to know if the Igbo people are Jews. So Israel has been advancing on this cause, trying to know, actually, are these people our brothers? So Nigeria does not want such curiosity, and as a result of that, Nigeria is always repulsive to Israel. Now come a generation of Biafran people who are no longer waiting for Israel to identify with them, rather inverse, identifying with Israel. So Israel will be happy to have a Biafran state in Africa that will be so powerful to receive her without preconditions. Do you understand where the interest is like? So, because she's an industrialized state, she needs raw material from Africa. And we find it difficult to easily manipulate in Africa region or African continent, why there have been a lot of evil campaigns against her. So, every ideal state should look for a way to raise up among her enemy, even though it's one reliable friend. And that is where Biafran project is coming. And remember, it's on personal view.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We all know that Nigeria is strongly, they are very much against Jerusalem being the capital of Israel. What could have led Chad into accepting to be hosted in Jerusalem?
Good. This is an intelligent question. Yes. It's significant because normally the hosting would have been in Tel Aviv. If Chad is still the Chad I used to know, that Nigeria has a reasonable influence on, Debbie would have said, no, come on. If you wouldn't mind, let's have the meeting in Tel Aviv. But you know, funniest thing, he landed in Jerusalem smiling. He was received smiling. He held the press conference smiling, and he was going smiling. Without ambiguity, what that simply means is that there is a clear acceptance on the side of Chad that Jerusalem belongs to Israel. And for Chad to have gone to that point, there is something you can't see on media platform which Israel has done to them. It's a give and take something. Do you understand me? So, and in another way around, it shows that Nigeria, you're on your own. Your position, that is another thing Chad has told Nigeria. Your position to Israel, your position to Jerusalem, you are on your own. Presently, Nigeria does not have influence on Chad. In fact, I want to say this. In Sahel region, or in within the West Africa sub-Sahara region, okay, I want to say this, that Chad is becoming the Israel in Middle East with the way Chadian government is going. Okay. I think they are trying to be the small boy that will control the big boys around. Big boy in geographical side. Yeah. Okay? Geographical big boys.
Yeah, I get you.
But content empty. Content small boys. So that is, and nobody who will not be happy for that. Yeah. If Chad government is going to receive all this assistance from US, from France, as we are seeing, and from Israel, and that will make her to be progressive economically, politically, and enjoy a lot of FDI, foreign direct investment. She will do it. She will not destroy her interest at the altar of Abuja on serious caliber of people or individuals in Abuja. No country will do that. First of all, your national interest before our interest. In international politics, there's nothing like our interest is my interest, and that is what is playing out.
Wow. Thank you very much. Of course, our lines are open right now. You can call us on Skype, call us on Facebook to make your contributions. Of course, our Skype and Facebook ID remains Sunrise BTV. Okay, you know, the very day the president of Chad, Debbie, returned, the president of Nigeria, I mean the man in Asorok, had to pay him a visit. What do you think? Could there be a kind of a panic?
Actually, it wasn't a visit. He called emergency meeting on the Chad Basin, as in a kind of, was it a tripartite group, Niger, I think it shouldn't be tripartite. It should be, Cameroon is involved, Nigeria, and all the rest of them. So he called an emergency meeting, and remember, Debbie was just coming back from Israel. Yes. So if he rushes to see Debbie, the suspicion will be obvious. People will understand that, this man is just coming and you're rushing. What are you going? So what they did is to hide under emergency meeting of countries within the Chad Basin and all the rest of them to call that meeting. And if you watch the photograph, you find out that others were laughing and he was seriously frowning. What that means is that the meeting was not really a successful one. So I think he got disappointed along the line. So that is what I see in the whole thing.
All right, thank you very much. My next question is, President Rivlin has this to say. He said, for us, Africa is a future. Chad is equally a future.
Yes.
That's a statement, and it's really, that statement is pregnant. Can you dissect it?
Yes, what Rivlin said, who is the president of State of Israel, what he said to me is a foreign policy announcement of Israel. He was announcing the foreign policy of Israel towards Africa. He said to us, Africa
is a
future and Chad is a future. And what Israel is telling you, that whether you like it or not, they are coming into Africa. Their interest is to come to Africa and get their interests, achieved and supported. I think is a clear announcement of Israeli foreign policy or policy towards Africa, which by our standard, they will let you understand that Chad is strategic to achieve that policy. And if Chad is strategic, another question we should ask ourselves, why is Chad so unique? Why is Chad so unique? So these are, I think, the answers will be coming as time progresses, as things keep on developing. Because Chad seems to be highly strategic. You remember she shares neighborhood with Nigeria and the Northern part. And you should understand, during the national confab, during Good Lord's time, I think one of the delegates from Adamawa precisely said that their kingdom is towards Chad.
Okay.
You are laughing, but it's a serious issue. Yeah. He said, if Nigeria will disintegrate, that Adamawa, the Yobe, the Borno, they will move towards Chad. Understand me? What does that mean? It shows that earlier before now, the Chadian government have a lot of influence on the traditional rulers of this region. And what every country wants to meet is a group or a channel that has already existing influence. That is applicable to what is happening in Biafran land. No country who has an interest in Biafran land will wish to meet Ohanese, because they know the Ohanese are just a kind of a group of Omunna, traditional association group, who gathers in Biafalo. It's about 10 persons, if I'm not mistaken. Then they will say, then they pray and go. That is just their level of influence at the level of Biafalo. So, good. No, that is how serious the whole thing is. Okay. And why every international bloc or group wants to meet IPOB? Because through your sit at home, through your protest, they've taken a holistic analysis of your influence on the people, and they understand you are a right contact group. So Chad is seen to be more influential, not only to the territorial integrity of hers, but by extension, most of activities happening in northern, especially northeast. And for that reason, she's a worthy northeast and northwest. So on that reason, she can as well be used to achieve a lot of things by most of these countries.
This is interesting, really, really interesting. Okay, now according to Prime Minister Netanyahu, he said Israel is coming back to Africa. Africa is coming back to Israel. What does it mean?
Of course, Israel is coming back to Africa, and Africa is coming back to Israel. First of all, you ask yourself, who are the Africans? And who is this Africa that is ready to come back? If you take the whole analysis of Africa, if we should divide Africa by the 4 cardinal points, the northern part of Africa is already going back to Israel. Egypt is just pro-Israel. Assisi, the president of Egypt, is just in a superb relationship with Israel. Okay, so let's say at the level of northern Africa, Israel is doing good. Okay. Morocco is equally doing good, So let's look at South Africa. I think Namibia and all the rest of them, few of them there are doing equally, trying to have a return. When you look at East Africa, yes, Israel has done wonderfully there. You look at Ethiopia, you look at Kenya, yes, you look at Uganda. Israel is just doing wonderful in East Africa. I think she is doing wonderfully well. Now, let's look at West Africa, where you and I find ourselves. You find out that the mockery or the irresponsible country known as Nigeria, aka Nigeria, who refuse to walk, who refuse to sit up, will never allow Israel to have gateway in West Africa. But Israel, knowing too well that Nigeria is not a problem. Why I say Nigeria is not a problem? Nigeria doesn't have anything to repel Israel's presence in West Africa. So Israel decided to meet some of the countries you might call by geographical size, you might call small countries like Ghana, Togo, and all the rest of them. Israel is doing a great influence. But I want to say this, by our standard and with our sense of what I know, Africa cannot go back to Israel, irrespective of what they say in Jerusalem. Africa cannot go back to Israel until Biafra comes. Why I say this is only the Biafran people in Africa that has what it takes to lead the entire African continent to Jerusalem. I know what I'm saying. We have what it takes by the level of our white circulation in almost all the African countries. And not just circulation. Most of these African countries, our bourgeoisies or relatively wealthy people in some of these countries have understanding with their host governments.
Okay.
I hope you understand.
Yes, I do.
So by that standard, if Biafra emerges, it's easy for Biafra to win the heart of these people for Israel. So if Jerusalem, which I don't think, if Jerusalem thinks she could get Africa to herself outside Biafra, to me, that is an illusion. To me, that is a daydream. It can never happen. So, but I believe, because I respect the state of Israel based on what they have here, upstairs. So, I believe when they say that, they are not failing to put into strong cognizance that it is the Biafran state which will march that will get Africa to come back to Israel, and for Israel to equally come back to Africa.
Interesting. All right, thank you very much. Now, let's consider the dynamism of international politics. Don't you think Nigeria can do something to win the heart of Israel, or to mend the relationship with Israel?
Yes, Nigeria can do something, because I believe anything done is something.
Okay.
Yes, Nigeria can do something, because I believe anything done is something. So it now depends on what you mean by something. Nigeria is already doing something, in case you don't know. Her attack, her confusion, they are all something. Is that not? Am I not correct?
You're right.
Now, if you are not saying if they can go as far as mending relationship to win the heart of Israel, or to discourage Israel from sympathizing with their clamp down on Biafran people, to me, I don't see that. What are you going to offer Israel? Is it oil? She has it. Is it gas? As I'm talking to you now presently, that is what is happening. Most of us don't know. Israel is investing a gas project of about $8 billion. Do you understand me? A hydro gas exportation project from Cyprus, Greece, Italy to Europe. And that project is about $8 billion. Which simply means Israel understands that she has a liquefied gas that will sustain her domestically, now exporting to Europe. I remember, let me tell us this. Exportation of such gas is not mainly for economic purposes. It's equally for geopolitical influence. Okay. Because Russia is influencing Europe through her gas supply via Germany. You remember Gazprom?
Yeah.
Do you understand me?
Yes.
And Israel now coming to be an alternative to Russian gas simply means, as I'm talking to you, European Union has invested $100 million dollars on the feasibility study of this project. So it shows that in near future, Russia influence on EU is going to naturally come to Jerusalem. Because what Russia could offer, Jerusalem will offer it much better. So on that case, I wonder what Nigeria could as well present again to Israel that will make it so enticing. The only thing Nigeria could do now that can make Israel to have a change of mind, which I think is suicidal, is for them to export all the Boko Haram, the terrorist group they have groomed, nurtured and nurtured, down to West Bank or Gaza.
Okay. And
say join an alliance with Hamas and make sure you're dropping missiles in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv and the southern borders of Israel. And guess what? When that is done, Israel will be turned to farmland overnight. That is only the thing they can offer. So I don't see them having a strong tool to get Israel. No. I don't see. And that's why, whether you like it or not, this country, until Biafra is seized, will keep on going down. Because she's supposed to have something to present on table.
Yeah.
Do you understand me? Israel is influencing all these Arab countries because she has something she's presenting on table. Take for instance, UAE recently took her soldiers to Syria to defend the Kurdish people in Syria. How would UAE or government of Dubai, right? Yes, UAE, yeah. How would they go to defend Israel's interest in Kurdish region in Syria? If not that they have enjoyed a reasonable thing from Israel and they are not taking their citizens, their military. So you must have something to present. The only thing Nigeria can present as I'm talking to you now is her harvested group of the new terrorist group emerging in Sokoto, as we had some days ago. The one they have in Borno. Which one again? They are herdsmen. Then load them and say, but that is an expensive game they can play. So I don't see. To me, I don't see. But if anyone sees, the person can present it. But I don't see anyone anyway.
Okay, thank you very much. There are also speculations about Israel's move to Sudan. How much do you know about this?
Yes, we have been following up that development, and we think it's a welcome development. And Sudan presently, as far as I'm concerned, Sudan is very, very important. Presently important because of they donated Jubilee to us. I mean Sudan. So if Israeli relationship with Sudan as they are moving now can help us for them to withdraw their donation, because their donation is not helping matter. So I wish such movement will help, so that they could come and withdraw such that thing, that thing in Nasser is really important. So I welcome the move of Israel anyway.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's look at United Kingdom. Just a few days back, Priti Patel, a former Secretary of State for International Development of the United Kingdom, made a statement, and she called on investors to withdraw from Nigeria. What do you think about that? Yes,
remember this was not said out of a mere wish. It was born out of extensive analysis. But let me not tell you something that will be shocking to you. These countries, they know the truth, but they at the level of presentation, they try to distort the truth somehow. God has blessed us with a teacher like NNAMDI KANU, and that's why we are critical thinkers. We respond to issues in a critical way. Now, see, look at this statement. Look at the way the whole thing happened. They said, withdraw your investment from Nigeria because quote and unquote, quote, Buhari does not respect the rule of law, unquote. Now, question you should ask yourself, Buhari, supposedly, the person there, let me go by their own terminology. Buhari does not respect the rule of law. How many months does Buhari's government have to election? Few months, right? Is Britain telling us that they are sure, 100% sure that Buhari's government will win the election? I don't understand me.
Yeah,
Good.
yes.
Now look at what they are telling you. They will not tell you that they are asking you to withdraw. They are asking their people, their investors to withdraw because they know that Nigeria's future is in doubt. That is the real intent and purpose of making that statement. But if they come and say, please withdraw because the way we are seeing Biafra issue is going to be achievable. If they say it, do you know what Abuja will tell them? That the statement is undiplomatic. That they now come under the smoke screen and say, because Buhari, whose government has only 3 months, are they not telling us that they are sure that Buhari will win again?
Back, yeah.
You see distortion of truth dispenser. They know the truth, but at the level of dispensing it to the people, they won't say it. So why they ask them to withdraw? Okay, take for instance, let me just say for saying sake, this government is changed. Are you not telling me that the next government is still going to disobey rule of law? So why not tell your people to endure that after a few months, the new government will come and the business will continue? But you tell them to withdraw. So they are not telling you the reason why they are telling their investors to withdraw. Because Britain understands. You know, I respect them for one thing. They are good followers of history. They don't joke with history. I respect them for that. They understand that whatever Israel puts her hand into, Israel is so stubborn because that Israel you're seeing, in most cases, exonerates her interest against what you call UN conventions. So Britain understands that in as much as Israel has received NNAMDI KANU and started giving him a lot of their national platforms. You know, some weeks ago or days ago, he spoke in Tel Aviv University. Most of us never knew that. NNAMDI KANU delivered a lecture in Tel Aviv. And other secret things happening he's doing with the state of Israel, which is not healthy to say here on this platform. Presently now. Presently is not really ripe for that. So, British understands that. They understand in as much Israel is involved, the best thing we have to do, pack our load on time before the rain start falling. And that is what you're saying that lady is saying. But most of us never knew. So they know the truth, but they will not open your eye to know the truth. It's as simple as that.
All right, thank you very much. You know, while you were explaining, that was the question before this very last one. You said something about the man that Sudan donated to Nigeria. Of course, you know, there's been exposition on this issue, although we've not, I really do not want us to go into that, but there are lots of questions coming from people, and I wanted to attend to that very question. Why is it that, in spite of all the exposition going on about the man in Asorok with evidences, have expected the international community, especially United States of America, to come up with a position on that or say something as regards to that?
Okay, good. It's a wonderful question. As I will tell you something historically, and I will equally respond this based on current events. Are you aware that America is a democratic state? You should understand that. Are you aware that the same America was having a lot of dealings with Mubarak, former president of Egypt?
Okay, no way.
Are you aware that the same America was having dealings with the ousted president of Tunisia, Ben Ali? You might not know. Now, the concept of sovereignty, as far as international politics is concerned, is highly respected.
Okay.
Now, America was having dealings with these undemocratically elected leaders I mentioned earlier in Egypt, in Tunisia. They never worried. But immediately there was what we call Arab Spring. The people revolted and said, we don't want this government. What did America do? America supported the people immediately and said, you, Mubarak, you have to go. Despite our friend. Because we are democratic. Our philosophy is pro-people and not pro-few individuals. We support you. America aided the exit of Mubarak, aided for the exit of Ben Ali, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. That is America for you. Now, in a decent way, America never told those government that we are undemocratically elected to go. America never said that in a decent way. But we have a new government, by our standard, a radical American government presently, that doesn't obey those much protocols and what you call decency. And he came and said, I don't want to see a lifeless president. Until the people start agitating, until the people start to say, okay, you say this man is not Jubre, he's not donated to us by Sudan, subject him to DNA. And there are protests. America cannot come and remove him for you. By the virtue of the concept of sovereignty. So if any animal is expecting America to come down and say, you have to go, drag him out of that seat. America has done all they could do at the level of international level by making sure that wherever American president is, if he dares steps his footstep, they will arrest him.
Okay.
In September UN summit, they lobbied for him to see Trump. Trump said, if he dares near me, I pick him up. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see the imposter. The armistice summit, the one they had in France. Trump told him, if I dare see him, I pick him up. He avoided that. The Argentina G20, he's supposed to have been there. He equally told him, I don't want to see him. You see, others were doing the G20 meeting, and he wants to go to Poland. If Trump is to go to Poland now, he might leave Poland and enter Ukraine and be holding his own meeting with some group of Omonakwe Nigerians living in diaspora. So these are funny things. So if anybody is expecting America to come out, that is until you revolt, until you agitate, until the streets are filled with protest, demand, strong demand. There's nothing international community can do about it. And that's how serious it is.
Really, really serious.
Yes.
Really serious.
So we like when we have Biafra and there are some silly things happening. You see, that's why we talk about the country we want to have. The people will demand. Why are you doing this as a representative of the people in Biafra? Who go for protest. But here, something is wrong with black man. Something is terribly... although when people say black man, I try to say not all black men, because we have some black responsible nations coming up. But typically the black man in Nigeria is dead mentally, irrespective of what he or she thinks.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have just a few minutes to go, but before we go, I will not fail to bring up the Biafran position in all these discussions, in all these analysis this morning. What is the position of Biafra in everything we've discussed?
Yes, to me, I think we have a responsibility to keep. Because when you say you need international support, it's not just enough to need international support. You understand me? You have to do your own. IPOB at this moment, we have a leader who is focused, who is, will I say, over intelligent. He's really smart. He's playing it the way it ought to be, you know, at bewilderment of many. But you and I, we have a lot of responsibilities to play. Take, for instance, to me, this is a personal view, I think there should be a lot of internal work in IPOB, especially on the side of intelligence. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Yesterday broadcast, I learned an arm of the struggle was decommissioned, you know, totally decommissioned. But I think we should see, at this level, what we need is intelligent gathering, what we need is intelligent contacts. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Not necessarily you belong to social intelligence gathering and you start making noise about it. That is stupidity. 100% covert operation, 100% clandestine operation, and that will help us well. Era of talking should be discarded, and we have to reconfigure ourselves to the nature Israel does her own thing, which is act more, talk less. Not talking more and acting less. And that is my candid advice.
Okay, thank you very much. And that's the most we can take for today. But before we go, I know you have a message for our people.
Yes, the message I have for our people, I think I'm transferring it to this platform, the TV platform. The message I have is that you guys should be courageous. You guys are doing wonderful work. You might not know, most of us, you people have influence with your work. You might not know because you're sitting here talking and you think you are reaching out to millions of people. You and the Mazi Bright and the management of this noble platform. You guys are doing wonderful. Be courageous, and I think you guys are using your golden pen to write your names in the history. Our children are going to study about you, study about Mazi Bright and the management here. You're just doing great, and I want to appreciate. For those of us, our people, I have given a lot of what I have for you to Ngozi, Mazi Bright, and the management of this TV platform. Thank you. That's all I have. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Our viewers out there, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for sharing the program, your contributions. Of course, without you, we wouldn't be here. So we urge you to join us again, same time, same station.